Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming today. Your presence here speaks for the global concern of how quickly our everyday lives are impacted by uh, the digital world and how hyper connected we are becoming, and how that impacts our lives and our well-being. So to dig deeper into that and give it more reflection, we have here Gabriel Pitt, founder of the training Master Your Habits, but also writer of the book Be Present, that shall enlighten us more on how to balance our habits and make them more healthy. Thank you. You might give it an applause.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, Ikram, for the introduction and welcome for this session around digital well-being. Before starting and digging into the topic, I just want to let you know that I'm not against technology. This is very important because this is the world we are living in, so it's almost impossible to do without. And the second point is that everything you will see is not judgmental. I'm not judging because we have new habits that has developed and it's rather challenging for us to find the right balance. And the second point is that you don't need to feel guilty. This is always what I'm saying when I'm meeting some clients or being with companies to help them to find their digital balance. Because everything went very super fast. We are now in a revolution with technology. If we are seeking back 15 years ago, 2010, the world was completely different. And I just want to start with a little calculation, and I will need your support. So let me come here. Voila. And I just want you just to raise your hand if you agree with what I'm saying. So if we say that we spend on average 4 hours a day on our smartphone, do you agree with that? That we can say on average, globally, we spend 4 hours on our smartphone. It's more or less depending your age and what you are doing. Okay, thank you. It means that per year, if we multiply that by 365, let me just grab my calculator. Voila. 4 times 365 is equal to 1,460 hours a year. So this is on average the time we spend on our smartphone. And if I want to know how many days it represents a year, I take this number divided by normally 24, but it's not 24 because we sleep. And the time we sleep, we are not on our smartphone. So if I divide it by, or let's agree, we sleep 8 hours on average. Do you agree with that? Can you raise your hand? On average, it's 6, 7, 9, 12 during the weekend maybe. So it's divided by 16. So if I do this calculation, now I end up with 91 days, up like this, 91 days during a year on my smartphone. Then if I take this number of days on average during a year time, and I wanted to do the number of places in this area, so time 80, because this is for me easy to sum it up and to round it up. So it means that overall, if we take the full capacity of this room, it represents 7,300 days for a year for this room. And then I wanted to calculate as well how many years, it represents altogether. So I divide it again by 365, and I end up with the total amount of years we would spend altogether in this room on our smartphone during 1 year. So it means that now I am at 20 years. It means that if we are 80 in this room, and we spend 4 hours a day, it represents 20 years on 1 year altogether. So this is the first figure I wanted to share with you. But what is important is to give nuance to these 20 years or these 4 hours a day, because it really depends on how do you spend this time on your smartphone. Because if you're listening music for 3 hours, then it's not the same effect on your behavior than if you are scrolling for 3 hours. If you watch YouTube or any streaming platform, and if you look at something that is useful for you, giving you added value, or even bringing you some pleasure, it's okay. But it's always understanding how do you use this time that is relevant, and not only the 4 hours in itself. So this is the first point for me that is really important to bring nuance throughout this presentation today. Then I will go through our world, where are we today, how we can change our behavior, because this digital environment had and will have impact on our behavior. And the last point is about action that you could implement rather quickly, but I need to inform you in advance that it won't be plenty of actions, because I know from my experience, if I give you 20 actions to change in 3 days, it won't work at all. But if I give you 3 actions to change, to put in place in 20 days, it will be more feasible and you will be more successful with that. So now, let's start with our world. What has happened since the 90s? First of all, the evolution of internet, creation and evolution of internet. Before that, we were still sending paper letters to each other and calling with the phone. Then the second point in the middle is the power of the calculation power of this device here, which is or even more powerful than an IBM computer back in 1960. Can you imagine the size of this computer back in 1960? Now I have this with full power in my pocket. And this is fantastic, as I said, with a lot of possibilities. So this is the two first points. And the third point is the speed of data transmission. As you can see, back in 1979, to transfer a 3 GB file, we needed 6 days to make it happen. And if you look just where we stand today, 2018, it's 300 milliseconds. So this fact as well improved the way we communicate, of course, but it changed the world we are living in. And the next biggest impact is the launch of the smartphone. Because before the smartphone, we had a cell phone. We could do phone calls and send a short message with 140 characters. And nowadays, we use less our smartphone to do some calls, and we use it a lot to send messages. And these two changes as well with the launch of different apps that are really helping us in many aspects of our life. We have as well a new economy that was created, the attention economy. Do you have already heard about the attention economy? Are you aware of this economy? Very good. And Herbert Simon in 1971, started to theorize the attention economy, and he said very simply that the attention globally is limited. As you can see, this is the red line here. If you take the total population worldwide, minus the time we sleep, this is the available attention globally. And then what consumes attention is information. And as you can see here, the information is growing really exponentially. And it means that our attention is becoming more scarce through time. And these data are confirmed by Statista. You can see here, this is the amount of information and content that has been produced, shared and consumed globally in zettabyte. And you can see that it has grown from 2010, the data I was mentioning before, to 2025 exponentially. It means that for us, if I draw a line, I didn't do the calculation, but again, this is our attention. At a certain point of time, our attention was under pressure because we couldn't handle all the information, and this is called right now the information overload. And this is basically all the information we can receive, but as well the communication that is integrated into this idea of information overload. And I ask to the participant, and thank you if you participate to the poll, to explore what's your feeling around that. And as you can see here, 68% feel that pressure and are overwhelmed by this information overload. And the other point here is 0% here answered that they don't feel pressured. It means that your answer, with 35 people answering, confirm the global feeling and as well the data I collect when I am with different clients as well, they are in the same, we are all in the same boat. Here, I just took a quote that someone put in the poll. So as well, in terms of this information overload, one of the impact is that now we try to communicate in a more effective way because we have too much information, and that's why we communicate with emojis and few words. And you see that this person here, in reality, is not happy with that, because this person wants to communicate with more words and with more profound thinking and so on. So this is one of the first impact on our behavior. The second one is multitasking, and our brain is not ready to multitask in terms of cognitive capabilities. We can do that if you look at a chef in a kitchen. He can do that because he developed this capability throughout the experience and years of experience. But cognitively, it's consuming a lot of energy to do the task switching. And as you can see here as well, a lot of people who answer the poll, and again, it is explanatory. We have 68% of the people who are multitasking, and part of the people who answered are students and staff. And it means that for people here, especially who need this cognitive capability to be at the top, multitasking is not really ideal to perform studying or working. And we see as well that the never has 0%, meaning nobody's not multitasking in 2025. Okay, this is a statement, this is explanatory, but this is as well what I see when I am in companies supporting them to change their digital habits. The next phenomenon is immediacy, and here it's the fact that we are always available and we need to answer instantly to all requests that we have. And here there is a difference compared to what I see when I am in companies. You see here, usually the rather quickly and instantly is higher. And here I feel that, or the figures, it's translated that you can better manage that. You can better wait and not always answer on the spot, which is very good. And I really encourage you to continue to do so, because sometimes, of course, we need to be quick. We need to answer quickly because it's really urgent and important. But sometimes we don't need to do that. And in our world today, it seems that everything is urgent and important, and we need to step back and to think really what is important and urgent. As another impact is that now the technology and the digital devices are always part of our private life. This is not only happening since we wake up and until the end of the day, but this is as well happening on the workplace. And for you, workplace means here when you study or when you work. And it has led us into an environment between real life and digital life or virtual life. And I call that the digital continuum. It means that we wake up, we grab our smartphone, and before sleeping, we are on our smartphone. And this is the world we are in. But this digital continuum brings as well some challenges. And you will see the next slide about this digital continuum. This is really representative, and don't get me wrong with this slide. This is the amount of time that people spend during the day while being studying or at work, checking private things on their devices. So it means that here you see that people are spending more than 30 minutes for 74% on things that are not relevant for them during their daily life. And this is what I see as well in companies. And this is, for me, not bad or good. I cannot judge. But this is now a reality that we face in our life, being here or in companies. I have the same answers. And this question, I found it in a survey that was made in USA 5 years ago already. And now I'm always asking this question. I'm not here to finger pointing, is it bad or good? But this is something that needed to be addressed, because what are the consequences of doing that? You lose time to focus on what you need to deliver, and at the end of the day, you feel more stressed, because instead of being focused, you dilute your attention, your time, and you are less productive than you should be. So this is a fact, again, I'm not finger pointing, I'm just highlighting that this is something we need to address. How could we handle that to make sure that we find the right balance between having our private life in our professional life, and on the opposite, it's the same. We tend now to have borders that are thinner between the professional life and private life, meaning you work after you're supposed to work, you work during the weekend, you work all the time, and this is as well this balance that need to be adjusted to enable people to find this digital balance. What we see now, based on this different impact and behavior change, one of the key points is that we live in a hyper-stimulated world. Our brain is always hyper-stimulated. And what maybe you experience by yourself, it's the time you feel a bit bored, you grab your smartphone and you check what is on it. And my job is really help people to handle this hyper-stimulation and to find a way to be really quick and fast when it's needed, but as well to regain the capability and the capacity to slow down, to be cool in a moment when it's cool, to just be half an hour outside, just watching the lake, and it's fine. And this is very difficult for a lot of people right now because of this hyper-stimulated. Our brain is seeking for stimuli, always, always, always. And this is not our willingness, this is the world we are living in. So you can see here, do you check your smartphone just to highlight this hyper-stimulation? I have other polls that are showing higher percentages, but 60% here of the people are grabbing their smartphone by reflex. It means the moment there is a little time of boredom, then you grab your smartphone. And this is something that I help my client to change because this is for them really important to have the control, to have the feeling of controlling these digital devices. One of the difficulties that we live now in a paradox, and this is the case for a lot of people I've met since now, because we know that this tool is very useful. We know that, but we know as well that sometimes we lose a lot of time being on it. We know that, and this is really this paradox we need to live in. And I have a great example, a testimony in the poll here that sometimes is really clear about its own use. She or he enjoy being on social media platform, and it's frustrating because then it ends up with 1 hour scrolling without any added value or without benefits for the person. So this is something we need to be really careful with, again, this paradox. How can we handle that? And this is, again, this guilty feeling that I've met a lot of people as well who told me that they have this feeling, but we shouldn't feel guilty about that. We need to really think about the situation and how can we navigate into this world to find the digital balance. Now I will go to the consequences of this different aspect I just mentioned. And one of the first aspect, and this is a journalist in US as well that used this term, the popcorn brain. I don't know, have you already heard about the popcorn brain? Can you raise your hand? No? It's defining that our brain is no more capable of focusing on one single task, but always like popcorn. I don't know if you have done popcorn by yourself, but this is the effect that your brain is not capable of focusing deeply on a task, solving complex problem, because you always your brain is always looking for stimuli. And this is really something that is challenging for us. Another consequence is the FOMO, anxiety. I had that as well in the poll as answers, as concerns that people who answered have. And the FOMO, I'm pretty sure you have heard this word, is the fear of missing out. The information overload play a role as well into that, because there are so many information that you fear to miss something. And I discussed not later than yesterday evening with someone about that, and this person asked me, but what can we do to make sure we reduce this FOMO, this information overload? And I used the word that I saw for it was a tennis player before a final at US Open. She said, what I've done just before the final, 4 hours, the final, I just cut the noise. And for me, cut the noise is one of the key expression I use when I explain how to change the digital habits and to find balance, is to really cut the noise and really focus on what is relevant for ourselves. So this is one of the relevant point I highlighted, always cut the noise. Then we feel distracted, but we don't know why. You need to work on a paper. And suddenly, your brain, because maybe it's a bit bored, it's a bit boring, it's not really interesting, then up, you grab your smartphone or you get a notification. And while you have your notification, okay, you just look quickly what is this notification, and suddenly 5 minutes. And then you need to come back to your paper. And there was a study done by a famous person in US, and she's working in the organization and work environment, Gloria Marx, and she found that if you are working on a task that requires your full cognitive capacity, your full concentration, and you are distracted, you need 23 minutes to get back to the same level of concentration. So if you really need to spend time on something that is relevant, you need to really cut the noise and cut the distractions. Another consequence of the world we are living in is stress and mental fatigue. I don't know if you have felt already this feeling at the end of the day, being on your computer the whole day. On my side, I work a lot with my computer, just doing this presentation. It was hard work, just using AI to have nice picture here. But at the end of the day, I feel this mental fatigue because of the technological environment, and I think the stress as well is something that you cannot feel, because both of them, you know, if I ask you to quantify, how do you measure your stress level, or how do you feel your mental fatigue, it's very something subtle that you need to really think carefully for a couple of days and to measure yourself different. So this is something that is really difficult to grab, but this is happening due to this technological environment. And one of the other aspects, and I've been in train 3 weeks ago, and again, I'm not judging at all or blaming the people, because this is the world we are living in, but for half an hour there were exactly this scene. Two people were in front, and they were not talking at all with their smartphone, 30 centimeters close. And I saw that afterwards in the restaurant. And again, I'm not blaming at all. I'm just saying that it's happening everywhere right now. And this is something that someone highlighted as well in the poll. And we see that. We really see that. And it's starting already with the kids at school. Because once they start to get their smartphone and to be in touch with digital world, then the relationship, the way we create relationship, is less strong. One of the other impact is sleep, and for me, this is one of the biggest. Impact, because if you don't sleep well, the next day won't be good. You won't have the energy. If you don't sleep well, your mood might not be good, and if you are not in a good mood, it triggers as well the envy to do things that are very simple, like scrolling. If you don't sleep well, you go more doing that, or more doing things that are really easy for your brain. And that's why sleep for me, and honestly, when I was 20 to 30, I didn't pay attention at all to my sleep. But now I really manage it carefully and differently, because I really see the difference. It may be as well because of the age, but if I would have known that earlier, I would have protected my sleep differently. The other impact is time. We lose a lot of time spending on things that are not relevant, and it's more difficult for us to manage our time. I asked the question in the poll, how much time do you spend every day on your smartphone? And most probably you did an estimation, or did you check on your smartphone? I don't know. But usually what we do, when we say, well, 3 to 4 hours, and you check on your smartphone, it's very difficult to evaluate. To evaluate time, it's very, very difficult. And most of the time, if you don't check on your smartphone, people are underestimating the time they spend on their smartphone. So time is very something difficult because it is as well one of, for me, most important resource in our world, our own time. And if you don't manage that carefully, you cannot allocate properly your time to what is really important for you. This one is as well not something that is. It started now to be researched. It's the effort avoidance. I don't know if you have heard about that. Effort avoidance, the fact that if you are too much on your screen and you have a lot of instant gratification, because just receiving a notification, you have a gratification, and your brain gives you dopamine just for notification. And then the next one is when you open the message, you again have dopamine. So the effort avoidance is that if you have regularly a lot of instant gratification, it's very difficult afterwards to set you long-term objectives. It's really difficult to work for something that will happen in 3 months or 6 months because you are used to have all these instant gratifications. And that's why your brain, if it has to choose between long-term or long-term with a lot of effort or short-term with a lot of effort, with a lot of pleasure, then your brain most probably will choose for the instant gratification. And this is something really I see. I had a poll with more than 1,600 people. That is more than with this 35 today. And my question was, is it easy for you to set objective and work on that in 6 months in a 6 month time? And 60% of the people answered no. That was difficult for them, you know. That was difficult for them to set this objective and to work towards these objectives. So, all in all these consequences, they have one impact on our attention, and it's linked to the attention economy. It means that if you can control your attention, it means that you are capable of allocating your resources properly. But if you are not capable of directing your attention, it's someone else that directs it. And if it's someone else, then you lose the focus on what is the most important for you, your 3 top priorities in your life. So attention for me is really the key capability we need to work on to make sure we can drive our own life in the way we want. So this is the first one. Then I will move to AI. AI, we are right now in this new revolution. It's really changing everything. And of course, I see AI as really something helpful for the education, for the health. There will be many benefits. Me, I use a lot of AI as a solopreneur. I challenge myself with AI. I can give top ideas with AI. But there are some other aspects of the AI that could be impactful for our brain. And this one right now is really important to step back because, of course, there is now this momentum with AI, and it will last for a long time. But we need to step back and to think how I, as a person, how can I be impacted in another way, meaning the way I don't want. And one of the phenomenon, I don't know if you have heard about that, it's called the ELISA effect as well. And it's the fact that you can discuss with the AI and be confused or discuss it and thinking it's a human. And there have been studies already showing that discussing with the AI is changing the way we discuss, we as a human, because we adapt to the way the AI, the LLM discuss. So it's impacting us as a human already with the way we discuss. There are other studies showing as well that some risks would be that if now someone is discussing with me and does not agree with me, which is possible, then we'll have a debate. And then we will have to think about this debate. Both. Merci. We'll have this debate. And then the point here that is really important is to not be confused by this LLM and thinking that this is a real person, because otherwise it might diminish your capability to discuss with someone and debate because the more you discuss with AI and you believe this is a real person, the less you are capable of having these real person exchanges. And this is something we need to pay attention. I don't know if you know Replica. Have you heard about Replica? They have already plenty of people who are engaging with Replica, more than 20 million worldwide, regularly discussing with it. And this is, again, the revolution we are in. But we need to keep our human capability to discuss and exchange together and not lose that slowly but surely. It won't be one day to the other. It's something that will happen slowly but surely. The second point here is learning and memory. And I'm pretty sure you have seen that there has been a study by the MIT recently showing that people, they analyze the brain of the people while doing an essay without any support, with a web browser and with LLM. And what they have seen is that the brain was less activated when using LLM. And as well, it has an impact on the memory because people didn't recall what was in the essay compared to when they wrote it by themselves. So this is something as well very important to pay attention to. How can we make sure we keep our learning capabilities? And here, this is the perfect place where you need to protect these capabilities. So another point, and this is as well critical thinking. How can I keep this critical thinking capability when everything comes from the LLM that are telling me the truth? It's not the truth. We need to be really careful how we handle that. On my own level, what I'm doing is I'm working with 3 different LLM, and I challenge them to get sure I've got a right answer. And afterwards, I continuously check on web browser to other sources to make sure when I'm producing something, saying something, it's backed, because otherwise it's very difficult to develop this this ability to think critically. One of the other impact or changing our behavior is the decision capability, decision making, and I think here as well it's really important to really think or step back when we use LLM to make decision. Is it useful or not? And I take really a basic example. Now you have people sometimes they really ask everything to the LLM because they don't know what to do, and it can be basically, hey, okay, it's sunny outside. Am I going to wear my black or white shoes today? And this is something very little. You are laughing, and me, it's a nice example. But these little things, when you accumulate it throughout the year, then you reduce your capability to decide. And it's not one day to the other. It's this little repetition that most probably will give you less and less and less confidence to take decisions. So this is something we need to pay attention to. I've put here your answer here about your main concern. So these are the main concern, as you can see. So there is this over-reliance on AI, and the skills as well. So you are pretty aware of the risks, and that's really great to see that, because most of your answers are related to what I said just before. Bias, privacy, and data security as well important for you, and impact on learning and critical thinking. This is something that you highlighted as well in the poll. So these are things that are really important. And then what is as well very important, it's the intention. Before I spoke about the attention economy, we might move into the intention economy. It means attention economy, we are giving our attention to the other. The intention economy is that we feel that we decide what we are doing, but it might be the AI who propose us something and we lose the capability to decide or to act, because everything will be already foreseen or anticipated based on our data, and the AI can predict what we are going next. And this intention economy might appear, I don't have a crystal ball, but this might happen in the upcoming years. And this is what we need to be careful with. We need to really step back and be aware of, okay, this is beneficial with AI for me or for my objective, and this is not really, this is impacting me, and I really need to think about it, how to challenge that. So now, I have a little break for you. I don't know if you're ready for the challenge. It's something very simple I want to do with you, to test a bit your ability to disconnect and to be relaxed. So I wanted to have with you 1 minute of slow time, meaning being out of this hyper-stimulated world. I would like to do 1 minute when you close your eyes. You do 2 deep breathing through the nose and exhale through the mouth, and just feeling present right now for 1 minute, and to see how you react. So I will count down. If you want, if you don't want, don't do it. But if you want to do it, you can do it. I start. 3, 2, 1. Close your eyes. And 2 deep breaths for 1 minute. Voilà. It was 1 minute. How was it for you? Was it easy? Yeah? Or was it difficult? Was it difficult for someone? Oh, super. So after this little break, we'll go to the why are we here today. And there are many, many reasons why we are here today. And I really focused on, through my researches and experiences, what are really the key trigger that make us feel this feeling of uncontrol. So the first one is regarding our brain. Our brain, since our evolution, because at that time, when we were a hunter-gatherer, we didn't know if we are going to eat the day after. And that was to survive. Our brain put our brain and body in a saving mode, energy saving mode. It means that we didn't consume energy to make sure if we have to hunt, we have the energy to hunt, and then we have food, and we can, the day after, enjoy more the life. So nowadays, we have the same mechanism. So it means that our brain is always looking for the minimum effort and the maximum pleasure. And if you think, you can see that in many, many situations of our life. And I've put that here as an example. If you have to choose between an apple and a donut, maximum pleasure, most probably, it's more appealing with the pink donut rather than with the apple. But if you have to choose between 8 p.m. in the evening, spending time on your sofa and watching a series, or going to the gym, you will need to do a lot of effort to go to the gym versus staying in your sofa. And most probably, if you need to choose to scroll on your smartphone or to spend a lot of time to study as well, it will, apart if you train yourself a lot, it will be more difficult to focus on studying than being scrolling on your smartphone, because on your smartphone you have, as we have seen before, instant gratification, while studying it's a long-term process. So this is the first point. Our brain is looking for minimum effort, maximum pleasure. The second one is curiosity, and again that was back into our evolution when we were hunter. We need to know when we will hunt an elephant, for instance, we need to identify the place, the field, how can we, what is our strategy, and we need to make sure we can hunt the elephant to survive. And that's why we develop curiosity and serendipity. I don't know if you have heard this word. The serendipity is a mechanism that you have when you discover something that you unexpected to discover, and you feel good. It's pleasant. So each time when you take different aspects of your life, especially with digital, just a notification, you receive a notification, I will discover something unexpected, and your brain activates pleasure. So these two components are reasons why we are here today. And the last one I wanted to highlight is as well fear, because with fear, back in that time, that was when we needed to To survive as well, we see a lion. Am I attacking the lion or am I running fast to make sure I will survive? Nowadays, we rarely meet or see a lion, but fear now is a different process in our life. And in this digital environment, of course, this is something that is really impactful. So here again, a poll, a testimonial in the poll. Someone felt pressure because of the pace we are living in. So all these three pillars, they have consequences on our mental, on our social and physical behavior. How we deal with technology, how our capabilities has evolved with the technology. Socially, how do we interact? It has an impact as well, and you can see that in every field of our life. And physically, of course, I don't know if you have heard about the text neck. This is the fact that we are always having this position when we send text. Then here we have this beautiful line that I have here because I'm spending too much time. But there are many, many other impacts physically. So now we move to the how can we change that. And I will give you the method I developed and I experienced with many, many people. The first one for you, especially here, is to protect your brain. You need to protect your brain because this is your main asset in this place. So if your brain is not protected, it will be difficult for you to reach your objective. And then the next one is self-regulation. And I discovered that while I was with people I was helping. At the end of the 3 months personal coaching, he told me, okay, but you know, one of the main benefits for me is now I can control that. I feel so good that I'm in control. I can have my smartphone here, let it for 1 hour, and I have no issue anymore with that. So feeling in control is for me that really make me feel very good. So self-regulation and is really for me very critical, but you can say, how do I self-regulate myself? And this is like a muscle, basically. This is like a muscle you need to train, but you need to help this self-regulation through habits. And this is my method. This is about digital habits. Now maybe we develop digital habits that are not beneficial for us, like, okay, I'm bored, I grab my smartphone. This is one digital habit I have today. Bored, smartphone. What I help people with is to change their habits, current digital habits, remove them, and create new digital habits. And I take the example of a toothbrush here because I think everyone here in this room brush their teeth. And if you think about it, it doesn't require any energy. You wake up, you do your morning routine, and then you do it without thinking of it. It's natural, it's on autopilot. And the beauty with habits is that it doesn't consume cognitive capacity. It doesn't consume energy for your brain. And this is why it works with digital habits as well, because your brain loves habits. Your brain loves habits. It means that you can change that through repetition and installing slowly but regularly habits in your daily life. So this is the method how to improve your self-regulation. But again, this is not Monday I start a new habit and Tuesday it's done. Changing habits requires time, repetition, engagement. And if you can start to change your digital habits, then you will be able to direct your attention and your intention in a more mindful way. It means that you will be more in control. You will have this control through self-regulation. And if you can do that, then afterwards, it enables you to be more human because, again, it's very subtle, this technological environment. Everything I said right now, it's difficult to grab. We see in the poll that you feel that, but if I ask you, okay, what is your mental fatigue level at 2 o'clock this afternoon? It's very difficult to say, it's 7 out of 10. While if you break your hands, okay, 10 out of 10. The pain is 10 out of 10. So if you can direct your attention and your attention, you will be able to be more human. So the framework I developed is very simple. It's you adjust your digital habits, you improve your self-regulation, you can direct your attention and your attention, and then you improve your digital well-being in our hyper-connected world. What are the benefits? critical thinking, creativity, mental space, clarity, concentration. You have more time control, a better perception of the time, because, of course, when you're absorbed on different tasks digitally, you lose the environment and the time perception. You will be able to have better decision making, improve your relationship, productivity, performance, and communication as well, and your overall well-being. But this leads to one of the most important capability that you will need to develop in the future. It's agency. Have you heard already about agency? I discovered this word 1 year ago, and agency, basically, it's our capacity to act. It's to keep our capacity to act, and I think this is really something we need to focus on, to keep our capacity to act towards this digital development. So now I will give you 3 actions. As I said before, I don't have algorithm, AI, or rocket science. It's very pragmatic, common sense. So here what we see is that when people wake up, they check their smartphone when they wake up directly. And one recommendation, and I'm doing that with all my clients, is have an off morning routine. Be with yourself when you wake up. Be with yourself. Think about your own life, your own objective, your own targets, what you will do this week. But don't grab your smartphone and be elsewhere, brought by any news worldwide. Be with yourself in the morning. The second one, your smartphone is visible on your desk inside. You see that you have always your smartphone visible wherever you are, and this is like a piece of chocolate cake that you have always here. So the second action is to have your smartphone out of sight, or if you're working on computer as well, reduce all the distractions that you can have on your smartphone. This is very simple, and I ask you to start to implement it as of now. And the third one, based out of the poll, it's, do you check your smartphone before sleeping? 80%. It means that waking up with a smartphone, sleeping with a smartphone 1 hour before, don't do that. Develop a sleeping routine that is without that. Be with yourself again. Be with yourself. So you need to develop a sleeping routine and do it together. Find someone who can challenge you, or you can do it together to make sure you are not by your own in the evening or in the morning. Do it together with someone. So now for our future, we have 2 options. We have 2 options, really. I think it deeply. The amount of people I've met, children, teenagers, people working in companies. We have 2 challenges, 2 options. And the first one is either we are like in the frog in the pot. Maybe you know the story. The water is not boiling, but it's warm. And at the end, we will be cooked, meaning we don't guide our intention and our attention, but we are guided by the technology. And the second option is we need to really invest ourselves in our human traits, our human capabilities, and take control. And for me, to thrive, we need to cultivate our humanity instead of digitizing it blindly. Thank you.
Thank you very much for all of the statistical illustrations, key insights. I think we may now open the floor for the questions. So you may raise your hand, and then Albertine would just give you the mic.
Please.
I had a question about the fact that nowadays you can feel the pressure to always be productive.
Yeah.
In the sense that even if you do some kind of hobby, it needs to somehow bring you money, for some instance. How do you feel this links to what you're talking about in digital well-being and things like this?
Yeah, I think your point is we are now evolving in a quantitative world, you know, and I think we need to think qualitatively. And this is for me answering your question. If everything is about quantity, then you lose the essence of being human. And the quality might bring you back to these human interactions. And for me, it's really about quality versus quantity that could make the difference. And how do you make that? Because this is simply said right now. The more people are aware of that and are conscious about that, and they can influence that in their daily life, you know? Like maybe tomorrow you are really focused on quantity. The day after, okay, I had this question and I start to influence my life in this way.
Thank you. We also have, for the record, myself and Gabriel are French speaking. So we do have a question online that is, qu'en pensez-vous d'avoir deux téléphones, un pour le travail et l'autre pour le privé? Est-ce pertinent?
Oui, alors, ça s'appelle le BYO, Bring Your Own, qui est en fait une politique d'entreprise qui est possible, justement, de séparer vie privée et vie professionnelle en ayant deux smartphones. Ça existe dans des entreprises, justement, pour éviter cette confusion ou le fait qui est ressorti de la slide là, d'avoir les deux appareils. Mais après, la vraie question, c'est est-ce que ça ne mène pas un stress supplémentaire? Parce que, de nouveau, moi, je n'ai pas la réponse à cette question. Mais si, par exemple, ce que je vois aussi, c'est qu'une partie de la population qui est très sous pression, c'est plutôt les jeunes parents qui doivent s'occuper de leurs propres parents, de leurs enfants. Il y a vraiment une pression sur cette population-là. Et si vous n'avez pas accès à votre smartphone parce que votre enfant est à la crèche, est malade, ou ainsi de suite, ça peut aussi générer de la pression. Donc c'est important de trouver de nouveau une balance entre discussion, comment ne pas se couper complètement, et quand même pour être productif au travail.
Just in case, does anybody want a translation of everything that has been said? Or no need?
Okay.
Is there any other question?
Yes, hello, thank you for the talk. I had a question following up on the previous one.
Yeah.
If you are this parent who has to be available in case, how do you have your telephone out of sight, typically? Because I like that idea, but still you have to be available. How do you deal with that challenge?
Yeah, I think back to our evolution 2010 to today, we feel that we need to be always available. Huh? This is now the common way of living, being always available. But in the past, we weren't available, and that was working as well. So we need to step back again. How do we handle it today? And I had this question not related to kids, but someone told me, yeah, but I need a smartphone because I need my parents need to call me in any case. And during this workshop, the person realized, okay, but I can find a solution that my parents can reach me while I'm working to make sure I feel comfortable with this approach. So in this case, it's again stepping back, finding ideas how to make it happen. I don't know, if you have a fixed line, a landline, then maybe you can give the number of the landline, meaning you are not stressed out while your smartphone is out of sight because you know that somebody can reach you. So it's all about creative ideas, and most of the ideas, honestly, are coming during the workshop with people because they find ideas themselves, how to solve the problem or the challenges.
I just add up to that, I'm pretty sure there are some filters, some apps that you can find. You can tune your own smartphone to your own needs, put off the notification, tone down the colors that will make you go towards a certain apps. So there are ways of hopefully. Technology is moving fast, but hopefully it is also moving fast in a good way. Any other questions?
Yeah, there are two.
Thanks. Hi, thanks so much for your talk. So it's sort of the same question, but rephrased. It's more on providing concrete tips for enacting that behavioral change, and specifically on the point that somebody had raised in your slides and in your poll, that they enjoy the first 10 minutes of scrolling whatever they're scrolling, but then after that it kind of becomes this endless torture loop. So is there something more based on the human behavioral side that we can do to kind of check in with ourselves, some sort of habit that we can build within ourselves to stop that, instead of relying yet again on smartphone timers and filters and apps, because that again is externalizing the problem, right?
Exactly, exactly. Thank you for your very valid point. Because, as I said, everything I'm doing, it's common sense and being pragmatic.
I'm a psychologist, that's why.
Okay. Even if, of course, there are plenty of good things helping us to find the way. There is a thing I advised as well. I did it last week in a company. You need 20 seconds to disengage to an intention. And if you think about the autoplay on different streaming platforms, it's always 6 to 7 seconds. So if you are watching a series, then you have the cliffhanger, the best moment. So you want to know what's happening next. It's 1 o'clock, it's 1 a.m. And then you cannot disengage from the next episode. And then you need 20 seconds to disengage yourself to this intention. But to disengage to this intention, it's not that basically you say, now I'm disengaging. You need already to plan what you will do afterwards. So if you plan 10 minutes of scrolling, as you said before, that is relevant, you need to plan what will be, what am I going to do after these 10 minutes? Because your brain will plan, okay, after these 10 minutes, relevant minutes for me, I will do something else. And then when you are absorbed by the scroll, you need to have an external trigger. And I advise to use a chronometer, that is ringing after 10 minutes. But again, if I want to go into details, if you put it just next to you, it's ringing, you just push, and then you continue. So to have these 20 seconds, and this is really concrete what I'm sharing with you, you need to put this alarm clock, while I'm finding the word, you need to put this alarm clock away. Then when it's ringing, you need to move like this. And then you can count until 20 seconds. You press the button, what am I going to do next? And then you do what is relevant for you next. So this is a routine you need to install in your life. But again, if you do it once, like the tips I gave before, it won't work. You need to repeat it regularly to install the habit. So this 20 seconds to disengage is really important. But if you don't add any other external factors, you will most probably say, okay, 20-second rule, autoplay, next one. You need some external triggers to make sure you take action and just not think of it. Was it clear for you? Thank you.
Perfectly concrete, thank you.
There is another.
Hi, thank you for the lecture. Very, very cool. I have a question. I didn't hear one word here that I feel like this is becoming sort of a global addiction. So to what extent are we talking about addiction here?
Yeah. So thank you for asking that. I didn't want to touch base the addiction point because I'm not a doctor or I'm not an addictologue. And that's why I focus on habits. There is part of the population that is addicted to smartphone, but it's not recognized by the WHO right now. What is recognized, it's gaming addiction and internet addiction, but not smartphone addiction. And of course, there is a little proportion, and right now there are some studies around that to define what is the proportion. So I had 2 studies I can mention right now. One, but that was a little sample, said that the level of addiction to smartphone is the same like other addictions that you can have. And I saw another one with younger people, and the percentage of people who were addicted to the smartphone was higher. And one of the components is that the time you spend on smartphone as well has an impact to the addiction potential. But we need to differentiate that really, because if you are addicted, it's like if I take your smartphone, you do not. You can. One of the way to describe addiction, if I take your smartphone, then you will be out of control towards your family, your friends, and so on. You cannot be controlled. And I don't believe that this situation right now is happening a lot of time, but it exists. However, it's not recognized by the WHO. And that's why your question is very valid, because we see in the newspaper smartphone addiction and so on. It's a very little part of the population, but it exists, unfortunately. And for those, they need to go to see a doctor to solve this or to treat this challenge.
Thank you. The question also came from my own personal curiosity, like what am I experiencing? Is this sometimes a form of addiction, or of course it's much softer to speak about habits and changing habits and stuff. Addiction, that was just like, where is the border? But
Exactly. So if I take your smartphone, what is your reaction?
withdrawal symptoms.
Exactly.
So
And if you are out of control, then I'm not the right person to talk to.
I have one more question that's more like to to see how your morning routine looks like. Give us some inspiration from your side.
Yeah, thank you. So me, I wait 20 minutes to get on my smartphone. So I wake up, I have an analog alarm clock, and I wait 20 minutes. And usually what I'm doing is that I'm checking my messages, my mails, and the news quickly. But when I said that yesterday evening, I can share that today as well. I really cut the noise I really focus on my priorities. So if I check the news, it's the headlines, because I don't want to spend too much time, but I want to be aware what's happening. But I only read the headlines. And I dedicate time to go deeper into the news if I want later on the day, because one thing that we need to, it's not in the slide, but spending time on your smartphone in the morning while coming here, there was a study about that showing the impact on the mental fatigue. And if you are scrolling and spending that time, for 45 minutes, the feeling of the people was that the mental fatigue was increasing by 37%. And if you watch a series, it's only 12%, the feeling they declared. It means that this is an advice I give to everyone. If you go to work or you come here in the train, in the public transport, you better don't do that, because otherwise you already consume your energy, your mental capabilities before coming here. And I explored this point while I have a daughter, she's playing piano, and I asked the teacher, what is happening when your other students are on their smartphone just before starting the lesson? And she told me that after, they cannot be concentrated for the 10-15 first minutes of the lesson. And that's why I was, okay, it seems that there is an impact when you are watching it just before doing something that technically is demanding. And that's why I explored this mental fatigue aspect. So one advice, before doing anything that requires a lot of concentration, don't go on your smartphone for minimum half an hour before.
Thank you. And just the last one, because you mentioned you have a daughter, kids. So what do you think age? When would you give smartphone to your kids? It's just the last question.
No. This is a very valid question now that we have banned in different countries. So I dig deeper into the topic. What am I doing right now with my children? I really try to make sure they adopt the right digital habits. So they don't use any social media at that time. They communicate. It's a communication tool. So I don't have a crystal ball and I don't have a clear answer. But my view is that why are they proposing to ban social media for the people younger as 16 years old? It's because the reward system is becoming more mature until 13 years old, and the cortex prefrontal is mature later with 25. So the idea is to stimulate less the reward system at a young age, while letting the center for the decision, for the control, growing properly. And I would say that it's a personal choice. I see that you have a lot of peer pressure, because now with 8 years old, sometimes kids, they have a smartphone, a smartwatch, and so on. If you look at industry recommendation, it's 13 years old. Normally, people shouldn't give their smartphone. Yeah, it's 13 years old. If you look at the recommendation, you cannot have access to a different platform below 13 years old. So if someone is taking responsibility to give access below 13 years old, it's the parents' responsibility and not the industry responsibility.
We shall have maybe 2 more questions, and then that's it.
Yeah, thank you for your presentation. My question goes back to what was said before. So when you're trying to limit yourself to a certain time that you spend scrolling or checking social media, what role can physical movement play to switch from one task to the other? You said put it away and then you walk.
Yeah.
How can that help to anchor habits or to help while installing more healthy habits?
Yeah, I think if you group habits, it's even better, because then if you have a positive habits that you feel it's installed in your daily life, it's I don't know. I take another example of a habit that you maybe change. When you have lunch and you watch something on your smartphone, this is now a habit that you install in your life, which is not probably the best one, because when you are absorbed by your smartphone, you eat more than you need. Your stomach cannot transfer the information to your brain. I'm full, so this is something that you install. Then if you have another good habit that exists already, you can add the one with your smartphone, like, okay, I go for a walk and I don't need my smartphone. And this is something you need to think about it, how to make sure I have a good habit, and how can I benefit from this good habit to install a new one with my digital devices. Welcome.
Hi, thanks for the talk. As you said, I think like there was a big switch around 2010 with the arrival of smartphones.
Yeah.
Myself, I'm considering maybe switching to an old style kind of phone, like with just like the basic apps, like maybe keep like Google Maps and stuff like that, but removing all the rest. Do you have any thoughts or experience with that?
I think the question here is, by doing that, what are you losing as a benefit? I take an example. I was in the Zurich train station, and to go to the toilets now you need to pay by card or with your smartphone. Or if you go to the train, you need you can still have paper ticket, but almost you show your smartphone with your ticket. Then after you watch your smartphone and you don't pay attention to the sightseeing. So you maybe will afterwards be able to look at the sightseeing, but not to have this convenient aspect of getting a ticket. So this is again the question of balance. And if you want to really remove these digital habits, this is quite radical. But if you can live without it on a daily basis, that's a good thing to do. Because then you won't be, you would avoid the need to resist to the temptation of going on your smartphone. This is what it will do, because you don't have any other advantages with your cell phone than calling and having the basic needs. But the question is, I take an example. Sometimes I'm really happy with my smartphone for the all communication, emails and so on. It's really convenient, and that's why this is a good way maybe to move forward until the point you realize, okay, I need a smartphone to achieve my objective or to do what I need to do in my life. Because if you look around us, everything is digitized. If we think about our parents, sometimes it's quite difficult for them because they need to handle that as well. So you can do that until the point you will need it for your life. Yeah. Thank you for the question.
Perfect. Then thank you for your insights and your statistics. I think we all learned a lot today. And also thank you for the attendance, for everybody here.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.